What is going on, guys? Welcome back to BSc Videos, where research and personal experiences meet. Now for this video, I wanted to go down to personal experiences route and have a little bit of a chat about my experiences with the online style of learning over the last 6 months or so. Obviously since March, since the onset of coronavirus, we've had to go through this online, way of learning. It's definitely brought up some challenges, but I think I'm starting to get used to it now. This is more of a follow-on from one of my videos that was received pretty well, online versus face-to-face learning. So feel free to check that one out. I'll link it in below for you guys. So first of all, I'm going to go through what a virtual room looks like. So basically what class looks like online, as opposed to obviously going in on campus. It's our replacement at the moment. And then I'm going to go through some, common questions that you'd come to expect adapting to the online way of learning. Alright, so starting off with the virtual room tour, I'll just flip the camera around here. Here's the computer right here. So this is the virtual room. I'll just join the session. Pretty much you just click join course room. Yep. Joining the room now. Joining as myself, obviously. As you can see, it's empty because no one else is on there. This is not a designated shoot time for this particular class. Obviously I just didn't want to do it during a tutorial because you just never know, there could be some vital information there, and also for confidentiality reasons. I don't think some of the randoms in my class would particularly, well, some probably wouldn't, but some wouldn't mind, but others may not appreciate me putting their names up on my channel. So we'll just get a little bit of an idea of how to use it now. So as you can see down here on the bottom, you can share your audio. So I'm talking to myself at the moment. As you can see, my mic is moving up and down there. You can share the video. What's this? Video preview. To be honest, I haven't done this very much. I don't think anyone really does it in class for, well, several reasons. Alright, looking forward to another online shoot.
5 minutes later.
It's getting boring. Don't do it, don't do it. No, just have to. Hurry up, ads. Moving on, obviously you can raise your hand if you have a question, and that prompts the convener. It lets them know that you have something to say, and then obviously you can say it by turning your audio on. You can also say it down over here in this little drop box. So as we can see here, this is everyone. Most people like to put them in here in the chat messages, so blah 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 blah, blah, whatever you want to put in there, and then you send it through. This can be a little bit frustrating. I think it would be for the conveners as well, because obviously they want quick and prompt responses, and by simply having the balls to turn your mic on and just say what you want to say, it takes far less time than someone having to type it in down here, press enter, and whatever else. So that's just a little guide of the room. Obviously you got the participants here. I'm the only one in it at the moment, as you'd expect. You can share your content if you need to. That's pretty much exclusively for conveners. Obviously there's settings as well, don't really worry about that. As long as the mic is working, that's probably the main thing, and you can type in the chat box. No one really uses their video, or people make up excuses about their video, like I said, for the previous reasons. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an insight into the virtual room. Alright, so now that I've given you guys a little bit of an insight into what the virtual room's all about, it's time to answer some questions. I'm going to take it outside because it's just absolutely beautiful out there. So we'll see you out there. Alright, we out here. Like I said, it's just a beautiful day for filming, so we'll get the questions done out here. Starting off with the first question, how have I adapted to the overall online platform change from online to, obviously from face-to-face to online? I've adapted very slowly. And I think it can be, safe to say a lot of other students would be feeling the same kind of way. It does take a long time to get used to. Obviously, you're not seeing each other face to face. You need to familiarize yourself with the virtual room and how to actually use everything. Obviously, you don't get that physical interaction that you always crave for in a classroom setting. So in those senses, it was quite difficult to adapt, but I think now, obviously it's been 6 months, so I think I've started to adapt. My grades haven't suffered too much, which is good. So yeah, all in all, it was tough initially, but I think now I've really started to adapt, and probably one of the main things is my grades haven't suffered too much, so must be doing something right. All right, next question. What's been the hardest thing about going completely online, or basically transitioning to 95% online classes? I think footage earlier on in the video summed it up pretty well as to why people don't want to turn their cameras on. I haven't been one of those people who have done a shoot from their bed, or are shoving their face with crackers mid-tutorial, but I definitely have succumbed to a lot of distractions. Obviously on YouTube, you've got plenty of videos on there. There's other things at home that can obviously distract you as well, but I think YouTube's been my prime culprit. Just if I'm getting bored, just so easy to just type watch a video or do something. Something that I definitely need to stop. Like I said, it hasn't impacted my grades, but it definitely has impacted my quality of learning. It's something I need to get rid of ASAP to try and get the most out of my university experience. All right, moving on to the next question regarding group work. Yes, the dreaded group assignment, or just group work in general in tutorials. I think it's so much more difficult in the online world as opposed to face-to-face. In terms of in-class, what happens is if you need to be split up into groups to discuss a question or something, the convener splits you up into these little things called breakout groups. Basically, you get your own little virtual room with the 3 or 4 of you, however many are in the group. And it's generally the first 1 or 2 minutes is a little bit awkward because no one puts their mic on, no one wants to put their camera on, no one's willing to interact with one another. It's just kind of awkward. Eventually when that happens, you start interacting, you start answering the questions, which is good in a sense. You even get access to a little whiteboard, which obviously you can write your thoughts in on there. You can draw random shapes if you want to. Whatever it is, you can put your thoughts on that whiteboard. The chat box is obviously still available, so if people are too scared to talk into their mics, then they can type it in on the chat with that group. In terms of actual assignments, it's definitely a lot more difficult as well, because you have to make the effort to connect with these people online. Depending on their etiquette, they might not use their social media very often, so you may not get into contact with them for a number of days, even weeks, depending on who you're trying to contact. And obviously, when you do try and meet up face-to-face, it can be easy for these people who maybe if they're not as committed, they might just say, look, it's so much easier to say it online and just say, look, sorry, I can't do this week. Can we do it another week? And you just put it back and you put it back, and it gets worse and worse from there. And next thing you know, it's the day before the assignment's due. So it's definitely a little bit more nerve-wracking in that sense because, you need far more hardworking and reliable group members. So definitely it's a disadvantage as opposed to going in there face to face and actually having the opportunity to reach out to those people in a physical manner. All right, final question of the day: online versus face-to-face learning. Which one do I actually prefer? Look, I think you guys can probably tell if you've seen my previous video and also through this one that face-to-face learning I would definitely prefer. For several reasons. Obviously, you're not at the mercy of all the different distractions at home. Group work and assignments is made far easier, obviously, because you can just talk to the person sitting next to you as opposed to trying to connect with them online with potential technical difficulties and also difficulties actually connecting with them in the first place via social media. I think another thing is, like I said in my previous video, you can't forget that it's so important to catch up with people in a physical manner. And by doing this, by having these face-to-face options available, that's what you can do. I think again, face-to-face learning, you can go into university, you can commit yourself for those hours that you're there. You're there for a reason. You're there to get the best out of yourselves, yourself, I should say, and that's what you go in to do. I also don't mind the blended learning approach. Obviously, lectures online where you can stop and start things, I don't mind doing that. Obviously going in for tutorials is the best thing though. So a blended approach or just completely face-to-face would be what would be best for me. There's also so many other reasons, but at the end of the day, we don't have a spare 10 hours. So I'm gonna wrap the video up here. First of all, I wanna say good luck to all of you who are still in university at the moment, or going through your HSC. Obviously very difficult times for learning. Hopefully you're adapting to the online platforms and you're not succumbing to the distractions of doing your tutorials and work in bed, or shoving your face with crackers or whatever it is mid-tutorial. Other than that, guys, really appreciate you all tuning in. If you did like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, give it a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and also turn post notifications on for videos like this and more. Like I said, the link to my initial video, online versus face-to-face learning, is below, so go and check that one out for more information regarding research and background into the two different learning approaches, and also the blended learning approach, which I briefly touched on today. Also, don't hesitate to comment your experiences of online learning down below, or even online work. This doesn't just apply obviously to those of us at university or college. It's also had a huge impact on the workforce as well. So if you're in the workforce and you've been impacted and have had to work a little bit more online, please let me know your experiences as well. There's also plenty of questions and things to come out of this kind of thing, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment those below as well. Other than that, thank you so much guys for tuning in today, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.